Too bad.
Did you just start by saying too bad?
I think so.
Well, hello there, Noah. How are you doing today?
I'm very good. It's snowing today.
Is it?
Yeah, it is October 29th, 2011, and in New York City and most of the Northeast...
Tri-state area?
Yeah. Northeast United States, it is snowing.
Yeah.
Surprise Christmas!
Surprise Christmas.
Yeah.
I love these psych holidays. Anyway, right now, we are not talking about this week in comics that have come out. We're just getting the things that we ended up missing for some reason or other in the past. Because we like to do things completely out of order and disorganized and not in any way coherent or connected on this channel.
37219. Okay. So, which I guess
Let's look first at, I think, this one. Batman and Robin. I know that I said some bad things about number 1, but number 2, it's already impressing me just from the cover. We've got Batman and Robin driving the cowmobile.
It does look like a cow.
I love it. I don't love the cowmobile, but I love that they actually have something.
Robin's face in this.
Yeah, he's just like,
awesome! I'm in the Batmobile!
And Batman's just all, grrr. No, he looks like he's ready to eat someone. Anyway, I think we've already talked mostly about what the premise of this series is, and the art is very much the same as in the previous issue, so just very quickly, what do we think of the story in number 2 as compared to number 1?
Definitely better.
A lot more.
A whole lot better.
There's a lot more story, I think. Number 1 felt kind of like just a...
mopey Batman, angry Robin.
And just a bit of a vignette that wasn't really attached to anything and kind of came out of nowhere. Interestingly enough, this one also has Batman and Robin going out and fighting some thugs who don't really have any apparent connection to anything. But I feel like it really is telling more of the story of what's going on. I mean, this is really... It's pretty grim. It's really serious. And I think that this is really a, how does Batman feel about his life? It's one of those comics.
It's also a Robin comic.
Well, yeah, it's who is Robin?
Yeah.
How does Batman feel about Robin? Batman is just trying so hard to
be
like,
a good dad.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, I need to save this boy. I need to fix him. I can't fail these Robins anymore.
And there's this one scene with Alfred, because Alfred is always the best character in any Batman comic, and there's this one scene where it's obvious that Bruce Wayne does not know how to be a father, and Alfred, who's been Bruce's father his whole life, is just saying, oh, you need some work.
Yeah. Lecturing Bruce
on how to compliment his son.
Yeah, it's, although I would argue that if perhaps Amanda Waller is in a comic with Batman and Alfred, Alfred might not be the best character.
Well, the new Amanda Waller?
No, the old one.
Yeah, it was the old Amanda Waller.
But overall, again, the story is very much a musing on Batman's part regarding Robin and his shortcomings, his failings, and what he's going to do to give Robin some direction in his life. And we see a lot of Robin, and we don't really get to know how he's feeling, but it's...
Well, Robin is a stoic. Well, Damian. Damian is a stoic.
He is, and there are things that are hinted at, there are things that are shown to us. A lot of things are shown to us, even when he doesn't talk much.
Yep.
So we really get a sense of kind of what his life is like at this point. And also, there's a lot of exposition for those who are just kind of coming in on,
and at the
since
end,
it is issue 2, regarding what's gone on in the past.
Want to talk about the ending a little?
Yeah, what I like about the ending is
there's a hint towards a new character.
Well, there was a character who was in number 1 who appeared just for 2 pages at the beginning and 2 pages at the end, and was not mentioned at all anywhere else in the first issue.
And in this issue, we discover that Key and Bruce have a prior relationship.
Although it's not entirely clear
how or what. And we get a new hint at a new member of the Bat family.
You know, I think that
new member of the Bat family.
Yeah, and it's a member of the Bat family that we really have not seen very much of lately. Probably the most underrated member of the Bat family of all time.
Yeah.
Should we say who it is?
No. Let's just Scooby-Doo. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also just want to say that I think overall, the way that it ties together all these separate different elements is much more cohesive and makes for much more of an actual story than issue 1. So I was very unhappy with issue 1, but now I actually want to continue and see how this develops.
Goes.
Although it is very much, it's a very emotional, not emotional, but relationship-y story.
I just realized something.
What?
The 2 of the artists are Patrick Gleason and Mick Gray, and it's like Grayson. Okay.
That is ridiculous. Don't read names anymore.
Okay. So next up, and we're going to week 3 now, because Batman and Robin was week 2.
That was week 2.
Yeah.
We gotta just cover a few other things. Birds of Prey.
Number 2.
I just realized the writer's name on this is...
Swear.
I can... What?
It's like Polish or something.
I actually think that's a really cool name, though.
Yeah. We have a friend named Bartosz with a really complicated last name like that.
Disease. Oh, and also the artist is Jesus Says.
Yeah.
Or Saiz. Jesus Saiz. I think Jesus Says is just a great name.
Yeah.
Anyway, Birds of Prey. I really enjoyed this because I think most of what I liked about number 1 is continuing into here. It's very action-heavy, but it is that kind of cool martial arts kind of on the lam detective-y fighting. I can't describe this very well, but I think you said that. I think
it's very Tarantino-y.
Because I think especially because you have Katana is more prominently featured in this. I complained that there are 4 characters on the cover of the first issue and only 2 of them actually appear in the book. Katana is, in part because she's a deadly woman who wields a katana, a bit reminiscent of some elements of, I'd say more of Oranishi from Kill Bill Volume 1. But overall, just I think the aesthetic of it is very much in keeping with that kind of martial arts movie type feel. Not that... I think it also has... I don't want to say Charlie's Angels, because...
There's no Charlie.
Well, because I don't want it to seem like I'm just thinking of another series about women who get into action-adventure. But I do just kind of get a sense that it's kind of cool like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think the characters are still well-written.
Yeah.
They're characters who I really like already, so I'm definitely very biased here. Birds of Prey is one of my favorite series so far, and that is not necessarily because I think it's one of the absolute best series, but because I just happen to be drawn to it very heavily. But all of, I think, the action... But
that isn't to say that it isn't done very well. It is.
It is, definitely. The story is a mystery. There's not so much focusing on the really heavy relationship stuff that we just saw in Batman and Robin. It's much more plot-driven, it's very action-driven, and it's these characters trying to form together and get into a unit that can actually work, because this is following the previous Birds of Prey series, that this is actually not continuing.
And you're still getting a lot of character development.
And yeah, no, definitely character development. It's building the story really well. I think it's structured the way that a good action story should be. And just, I think that one thing that this pose, like just pose as a team because shit just got real, that kind of, I think this really sums up the sort of thing that you have going on in this comic. I mean, to be honest...
Still don't like her costume.
Yeah, he still doesn't like Black Canary's costume. I like it because I think it does make her seem kind of more Secret Agent Ninja-like, and I think that Secret Agent Ninja is really what she feels like.
I still think that like she should be wearing like Starling's costume, but with a jacket or something.
You know, I mean, to be honest, I used to be bothered by it, but the way that it's actually drawn in comic and the way it fits with everything else, I'm really happy with Black Canary's costume. Because she still looks tough, she still looks just as sexy and glamorous as she ever was, and she's also, again, I think Ninja Spy really does suit her. So, and again, also, these characters are not necessarily the kind who can get along. They're all a little bit crazy, and at the very end, I think we should definitely spoiler who appears at the very end. Why don't you show him? It's Poison Ivy wearing a lovely autumn ensemble. I mean, I think the most unfortunate thing about this book is they seem to set up Poison Ivy as a surprise for the very last page when she was on the cover of issue 1. So, yeah. Very big anticlimax there. But overall, again...
Venom is fine.
But I really enjoyed the story, so I would say on the same note as number 1, definitely.
So moving on to Blue Beetle.
Also from week number 3.
Yeah.
You didn't like Blue Beetle number 1, is that
I
right?
preferred Blue Beetle number 2 over Blue Beetle number 1.
And what was it that you didn't like about number 1?
Just not enough Blue Beetle. Too much, Jaime?
Jaime, yes.
Yeah, too much Jaime, and I didn't really feel like Jaime was that much of an interesting character. But here, now that he is the Blue Beetle, I think that we're getting to see him more as a superhero character. He's He really just got the armor. He has no idea what's happening and what the armor is.
Yeah.
He's like looking down at his hands and wondering who's talking to him inside of his head.
Yeah, the entire story is that the scarab that he had on his back in the previous issue has latched onto him, and it might be a bit defective, the computer program, and it has taken control of him, and it's trying to get him to kill everyone, and he's just trying to make some sense of what's going on,
Yeah.
and everyone's trying to fight him, and he's just this kid who's like, what's happening? I have no idea, but I've gotta save Kako, my friend.
Yeah.
And I think that you said that he seemed to act a little bit too heroically in the previous issue based on the character that he was set up as.
Yeah.
I think here that he actually, I didn't really agree with you necessarily on that, but I think here definitely he's a lot more, it makes a lot more sense, his heroics.
But this whole comic, like right now, this issue 2 reminds me of a quote. I think it was Abraham Lincoln said, "If you want to test a man, give him power and see what he does with it," or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And I think that really, when we see what Jaime does when he gets the armor, how he's really confused, but he still wants to save his friend, and he just takes his friend to wherever he thinks his friend's going to be safe, and where he's still, like, he just has no idea what's going on, but he's kind of single-mindedly just wants to help people. Yeah. I think that's the type of character that we're setting up here, and it's a good character. He's likable. And even though he's in this situation, he still has his priorities straight.
See, here's what I think. I think that what you said about issue number 1's pacing and its ability to grab your attention is true on some level, but at the same time, I think that if what happens here, had been part of issue 1, and we had just had like a little bit of this and only a tiny bit of that introduction to the Jaime character, that it would not have worked as well.
No, yeah, you definitely needed issue number 1, but like, this benefits from what issue number 1 set up. It's just that issue number 1 by itself was a little, just not... Like, you need issue 2. The two are complements.
Yeah, it's a slow setup, but once you get to issue 2, it starts paying off.
And issue 3 is probably going to be just all like a boom or something.
Because also these scarabs are apparently, again, I don't know very much about the whole Blue Beetle story. These scarabs are apparently flying around in outer space, going around destroying worlds, and they've gotten bored of it, and now this one has just been awakened. Now, hey, we got to go check this out. So you've got an entire legion of world destroyers who
heading towards Earth to find out what's wrong with this beetle.
And this guy is just caught in the middle of it. I think that as far as stories about teenagers go, so far, short of perhaps Teen Titans, maybe. I think you definitely have a much more interesting story than any of the others that I've seen so far. Because I think this is the most ordinary character that we've had so far, which is very different for a DC comic, which is something you don't see very often.
He's just a high school student.
Yeah, who just happens to be thrown into this situation, and now he has to deal with it. And
he's not like a genius like Peter Parker. He's not like an orphan or anything. He's just a normal, average, everyday guy.
Yeah, who suddenly becomes gifted with great power. So this is going to be interesting, I have to say. So far, I'm much more interested now than I was before, and I actually liked number 1.
Yeah. And now we have
Supergirl. Number 2, sorry, from week 3, which I actually have not had the chance to read yet.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go into it. Let me just flip through, try and
remember what happened
a little bit. Okay, so at the end of issue 1, because late arrival spoilers, I guess. Yeah.
Superman was in number 1. Wow.
And he's in number 2.
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, so at the end of that, Superman comes, says hi to Supergirl, and Supergirl is like, what? And so Supergirl, thinking that Superman is the hostile, just beats him up a little. Superman doesn't fight back because he doesn't want to really, hurt her.
Does Superman know who she is?
Superman has an idea. Both of them recognize the family. It's like a family crest. In Kryptonian, so both of them recognize that. And
now, number 1 was just a tremendous fight scene.
Yeah,
which
this is...
I think was very well paced. How does this compare to number 1?
There is another fight scene, but it's only the 2, and Superman isn't really fighting back. So it's definitely one-sided.
How does this, in terms of story, how does it...
In terms of story, there's more exposition. Superman is trying to explain things, and she's like remembering stuff by herself now. So you have Supergirl. I forget her name. It's Kryptonian. Kal-El. Yeah. She is kind of remembering who she was on Krypton, and Superman saying, "Well, you're not on Krypton anymore. Now you're on Earth." And then she's like getting more of her powers, and then she discovers she has X-ray vision. And first she's scared because she's just seeing her bones. She's like, "What? Why is my skin melting off?"
Oh.
And so it really is just Superman trying to explain things, and her still trying to adjust herself to Earth.
How does the pace feel compared to number 1, and also?
I'd say it's about the same. Yeah.
So I found number 1 to be kind of slow moving, although still
I mean, this is
engaging. Are we still sort of following that path of Supergirl trying to understand what's going on around?
It's a lot more like Superman isn't fighting back because Superman doesn't want to anger her. So it's a lot of Supergirl having to piece together what's happening. Superman gives little hints, and she doesn't really believe him because.
Well, who would?
Yeah. Well,
is she panicking?
She's definitely panicking.
All right.
But by the end, she realizes that Superman, and her are blah blah blah. Spoilers.
Now, would you say that you're interested for number 3?
Definitely.
Looking ahead, would you say you're more interested than after number 1?
About the same.
All right.
There's definitely a sequel hook. We discovered that Supergirl didn't come to Earth alone. I guess
there's a sequel hook at the end of the issue.
Yeah, but it does.
There's gonna be a number 3.
Well, I mean, like they're adding like a new element to it at the end. It's not just going to be Superman and Supergirl by issue 3.
Well, I should hope so.
So
I think that's it for things that have come out in previous weeks. Is there anything else about Supergirl that you want to say? Or?
Not really.
All right,
but it's surprising. I think it's surprisingly character driven. Is what I'm surprised about. I thought there's going to be a bit more action, but it is a lot more of just her discovering who she is. So very character, very inner story.
Very inner story.
Yeah. So next video we'll be going through pretty much everything that came out this week. We only missed Voodoo and Firestorm.
Oh no, we missed Voodoo. I actually want to read Voodoo, but I haven't. So, ha! Goodbye.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just a wave. I mean,
do the thing.
Oh.